Okay, good, we're ready. If there's a spirit that wants to speak, just say hello. Hello. I am from Australia, but I have Irish in me as well. Is there anything else you want to say? I like your stone, by the way. You're very talkative, John. Is there advice you want to give us? You're good. The Spirit Box is a radio and it has AM and FM frequencies in it. And I'm able to scan with the radio and messages come through. Are you with us, Charles?
You would have a long and healthy life.
The claims of spiritualism have been with us for years.
Psychics have long fascinated Australians.
Hello, I'm Moira.
Could it be that Brad Pitt is getting a taste for political life?
Stacey calls herself a corporate witch.
What was that like, confronting your boss and saying, guess what, I'm a witch?
It was really difficult. We call it coming out of the broom closet.
Social media means their services are now at our fingertips.
I'm back at the cemetery again. We're filming some more content today and I can't wait to show you on TikTok. I have 1.1 million followers on TikTok and 25,000 on Instagram. The following that I have are people that are curious about the spirit world. They're curious about spirits. They are also curious about psychics.
We can use this seat we made.
Rachel Butland describes herself as a believer.
Kale was someone I became really interested in this year.
The psychiatric nurse turns to psychics when in need of guidance and support.
He'll go to the cemetery and he can communicate, and it's amazing. I just love his energy. So it's been a huge day at work, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to see what TikTok's all about. Next thing, after the live had finished, I had like a follow request from I am Kale O'Donnell.
Love and light. I'm drawn to you. I'm picking random from my followers for a reading.
Straight away, I was like, wow. Yeah, it was like a starstruck moment. I'm literally about to scream, I'm so excited.
Do you aware I do collect donations for my reading? $50 is okay, and it will be more good if you could make it $70, just to appreciate the energy of the ancestors.
I've counted 50 fake accounts across social media that are pretending to be me. I've even got people pretending to be my talent manager and taking fees to book me to fake events.
It was then that Rachel realised she wasn't actually speaking to Kale.
Before I know it, I receive like a couple of paragraphs of guidance, and I straight away knew. At that point, my stomach dropped.
You are destined to be great and rich, my beloved, and also you have good future and goal, but you are passing through some hard time.
Me reading this now, I'm like, wow, I was straight up so vulnerable. It's embarrassing, really, when you realise, yeah.
Psychic scams are growing. The consumer watchdog, the ACCC, says there's been a 219% increase in psychic fraud losses this year, costing Australians more than $260,000.
If I go to a fortune teller and I give them $50 or $75 for an hour's consultation and I walk away happy, to my mind, that's perfectly legitimate. If I go to a fortune teller and they develop a relationship with me and tell me that I'm cursed and the only way that I can get rid of this curse is to give them jewelry and access to my bank account, then that reaches a point where I think it's exploitative.
Dr. Jeremy Patrick has written a book exploring the tension between fortune-telling and fraud.
My argument is that fortune-telling itself shouldn't be criminalized, that a lot of people rely upon it for emotional support, to help with sort of everyday questions about relationship and finances and all sorts of matters, and it provides them an outlet and an avenue to get some help in a way that's cheaper and easier and perhaps less stigmatizing than going to a professional therapist.
Ladies and gentlemen, Uri Geller.
What I do is telepathy, and then I have the other power which I read that they call psychokinesis.
Well, if we go right back into history, the history of the modern skeptical movement It sort of started when spoon bending was in fashion. And anybody can do it. It's an optical illusion. You just get a normal teaspoon and you rub it like this and you concentrate and it looks like it's getting rubbery and bendy. And it's a wonderful optical illusion. And thousands of...
Richard Saunders is the chief investigator of the Australian Skeptics.
For, well, over 4 decades, we've had a large cash prize to anybody who can demonstrate a paranormal or psychic power in an agreed test. Above board, completely fair, so $100,000 can be yours if you're truly psychic. It's a good question that comes up. Are all psychics scammers? No. And people would think that the skeptics would say, oh, all psychics are scammers. No, I think a lot of them are genuine, honest, sincere people, simply deluded into thinking they have special magical powers.
It's warm, that's nice.
There'll be people who watch this and say psychic fraud, well, that's a tautology, all psychics are frauds. What do you say to those people?
I think that it's the job of the psychic to convert a skeptic into a believer. So I think that it's normal to believe that psychics are frauds and scams. And I think that's very good and safe to start from that perspective and allow the psychic to change your mind. Oh, you're with Francis. Hi, Francis.
How many scammers are there in your industry?
I wouldn't be able to tell you how many scammers there are in this industry. There are a numerous amount of people who are intentional scammers and unintentional scammers.
Despite being scammed, Rachel hasn't lost her faith in the spiritual world. She would still accept a psychic reading from Kale if the real one offered.
I hope someone who is a scammer sees this and realises, or hopefully something in them is like, oh, okay, maybe I'm really hurting people a lot more than their bank account.